I grew up in a very rich home, the only daughter of my parents. My father was a doctor who owned his own hospital, the famous First Class Healthcare Center. My mother was the CEO of First Class Beauty Care, a well-known beauty brand with branches in several countries. They even matched their company names on purpose because their love for each other was so strong and unimaginable. And because of that, I became what people called a first-class baby. My room was more like a palace than a bedroom. I had everything I wanted: cars, the latest phones, laptops, tablets, and so many electronic devices that I lost count. I changed my room decor every month just because I could. We had so many maids that I never lifted a finger. I didn't know how to cook, how to clean, or even how to boil water. I lived in luxury without knowing how life truly worked outside those mansion walls. I attended an international school, and although many of my classmates also came from wealthy homes, none of them compared to mine. Everyone knew me because of my parents' status, even though I was an introvert. I didn't have friends, not because no one wanted to be my friend, but because I chose not to let people close. My headphones and gadgets became my best companions. It didn't matter how rich my home was. It never filled the emptiness in my heart. I envied my classmates sometimes because their parents showed them love and attention, something I barely received. On my graduation day, I waited for my parents to show up. I graduated with first class, yet the two people who were supposed to be proud of me didn't come. I stood there watching other parents hug their children while I pretended not to care. But deep down, it hurt more than I could explain. That night, they threw a huge party at our mansion to celebrate my results. They invited their friends and proudly spoke about how their daughter had earned a first class, and how perfectly it matched the names of their companies. I went straight to my room and locked myself in. They begged me to come out, but I refused. And because they believed money solves every problem, they sent money into my account and even bought me a new Lamborghini. Instead of feeling loved, I felt insulted. One sunny day, while I was in my room enjoying soft music, I received a call telling me to rush to my father's hospital. I arrived quickly, and what I saw shattered my world. 2 dead bodies lying covered on the hospital beds. My parents. The shock was so extreme that I fainted. When I woke up, I was in a hospital bed and was told I had been in a coma for weeks. Once I remembered what happened, I cried uncontrollably. Words cannot describe the pain, anger, and agony that took over my whole being. Life is full of unexpected things, but nothing prepared me for this. After the burial, I thought that was the end of my suffering, but life had more for me. My parents' so-called friends took everything from me: the companies, the mansion, the cars, the money, even the small business I started with my own savings. They left me with nothing but the clothes on my body. I had no family members I knew, no direction, no hope. Everything was gone. I became so depressed that taking my own life felt like the only option. One night, while walking alone, I got kidnapped. They took me to the bush and planned to hurt me. Just when I thought it was over, something unexpected saved me. A dog. I hated dogs because of their constant barking. But this one barked so loudly and fiercely that the kidnappers ran away out of fear that people might come. The barking actually attracted villagers, and they rushed toward the scene. A kind woman took me and the dog into her home until morning. The next day, villagers came to check on me, bringing food and fruits. From the crowd, I spotted a familiar face: my grandmother. I hadn't seen her since I was little, but I recognized her immediately. She also recognized me. She told me she hadn't visited because my parents had sent her away after she tried to help me with chores. I told her it wasn't too late, and she said it was never too late. She took me in and the dog followed us. I named him Xavier. Living with my grandmother changed my life completely. For the first time, I learned how to wash dishes, cook, clean, and do all the things I never knew existed. My first attempt at cooking rice was a disaster. I boiled the water until it evaporated completely, then poured the rice into the empty pot and proudly covered it as if magic would cook it. My grandmother laughed so hard, and the dog barked like he was laughing too. My jollof attempt was so bad that even the pot gave up on me. But slowly I learned. I enjoyed waking up early, going into the forest with Xavier, and coming back to prepare meals and do the house chores. Nights were harder because I always cried remembering my parents, but my grandmother and Xavier comforted me with their presence. After a few months, my grandmother asked me if I had someone special in my life. I told her I had never been in a relationship because I was scared. She advised me to leave the future in God's hands and build myself with good habits. There was a young man in the village I liked, and one day he asked to talk. He confessed his feelings and we eventually started dating. People thought the relationship was rushed, but we had known each other since the day I arrived in the village, and we had grown close. We later got married and I gave birth to twins, 2 beautiful girls. My grandmother held them lovingly before taking her last breath on earth. Not long after, I got a call saying my parents' properties had been restored to me. Justice had finally come. But I didn't want to go back to that old life fully. I wanted my children to have a simple, loving life. I sold part of the properties and used the funds to develop the village where my grandmother lived, building schools, improving water facilities, and supporting the community. My husband and I moved to the city but lived a simple life. I opened a classic beauty salon, and he owned a construction company. Most importantly, we made sure to spend quality time with our children, because I knew what it felt like to grow up with wealthy, but emotionally absent parents. My journey has not ended, but a new one has begun. Life taught me a lot: humility, strength, love, gratitude, and the reality that help can come from unexpected places. It taught me that true love exists, and that you don't have to be perfect to be amazing. As for Xavier, he eventually passed away, but I will never forget him. I often visit animal shelters just to appreciate dogs and other creatures, because they truly are joy givers and heroes in their own ways.